What's happening, you guys? Here I am, Coach Joel, along with Coach Emily. And if you're listening to us, you're listening on the Proclivity podcast, or you are a member of the Proclivity Method Facebook page, and you can actually tune in live when we do these. If you are not yet a member of the Proclivity Method Facebook page and you're on Facebook, we send weekly check-ins there. We send blogs, information. It's a great source, and it's private, so you got to be special. So you got to ask. I just rejected a couple people this past week. I didn't know who they were. Sometimes when it comes to those groups, people, they go fishing, right? They want to get into a group and they want to slang their information, with their product. So if I don't know you, you better send a message. Because if not, I'm just going to reject you. That's how we do it. Welcome to the Proclivity podcast, you guys. We do one thing, and we do one thing really well. We help people to create a metabolically flexible body. See, when you create a metabolically flexible body, your body's able to burn more fat. You're able to have more energy because the energy that you're burning is clean energy. It's the fat, instead of constantly waiting it to use carbohydrates. There's a little pause there. And so when you get to the point of being able to have a metabolically flexible body, then you have better energy, you have better body composition. We help to be able to create healthier bodies and happier lives. We do that through a 12-week program called the Proclivity Method. If you haven't checked it out, head to www.proclivity.co. You can get a 1-on-2 with Coach Emily and I. Listen, you guys. This morning, Emily and I went and got into the Truckee River. It was about 40 degrees, 38, 40 degrees. We sat in the Truckee River for 2 minutes along with a couple other clients, friends of ours. Shout out to Kim. Shout out to Allie. And so we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk a little bit about cold therapy and what we're getting into today. If you're tuning in today, it's because you looked at the title and you're like, wait a second, my immune system, I want to be healthy. There's all these crazy viruses going on, right? We have COVID. We have all these other colds that have recently been showing up that are actually pretty brutal. And making sure that we have a healthy immune system is drastically going to help us to fight away those colds, and when we get them, to be able to deal with them appropriately. So we're going to talk about it today. What do you think, Coach?
Yes, we are. Yeah, I'm excited.
I am currently on 24 hours of a fast for a 72-hour fast. And I'm feeling a little brain fogged right now.
Well, that you said your sleep wasn't great, and then the cold plunge. There's a lot of things going on.
Yeah, some different hormetic stresses and all that kind of jazz. If you guys are interested in doing any type of fasting, shoot us a message. We support fasting. I do it a lot more than Coach Emily does because Coach Emily is smarter than I. Yet I always love testing my body, and so that's why I usually do a 72-hour fast once a quarter. So if you guys want to catch me, come catch me back in April. We'll do a fast together, or join us right now. Yeah. All right. Coach Emily, how are you doing?
Yes, sir. I'm doing great.
You are doing great. Recently, you got me sick. Full on projection right there. Victim mentality. We guided. Yes. Emily and I, right, when you get a partnership, you get sick together, right? That's what happens. When you're business partners, you just get sick together. It's just part of the plan. So, but recently we had some colds, and we were able to get through them relatively quickly and unscathed.
Yep.
And so let's dive in. We can use a little bit of our own personal experience and just talk about in general about creating a healthy immune system. So let's start off with the basics. Coach Emily, what is the immune system? What's its job? Do some people have stronger immune systems? Give us a breakdown.
Yeah. So our immune system's job is to protect ourselves from outside harm, whether it be a virus, bacteria, germs, parasites, cancer, fungi, toxins, all the things. It's supposed to protect us. It's a network of things like cells and proteins that work hard to fight against outside invaders. And there is definitely a way to strengthen your immune system, and there's a way to not strengthen your immune system and make it weaker. And so, something we talk about a lot with our clients is how to boost our immune system. So, like you just said, we can get over colds or fight off certain things quicker and faster if not have them at all.
Are some people? Do some people have weaker immune systems just in general? Is it a genetic thing?
That's a good question. As far as genetics go, there may be some certain autoimmune issues with people that are genetic. That's more on the rare side. There's definitely a lot more environmental influence for the individual to boost it. And so, yeah, it's a smaller percentage for people who are born with it.
Yeah, because there's some people out there that are like, "Oh, I got the strongest immune system ever. No, I don't get sick."
Yeah, and that could be a long line of genetics of just being healthy because what my grandmother ate and while my mom was in the womb affects me. And so there are things that play into it. Yet, like I said before, there's so many things that we can do ourselves to help strengthen it.
That's an interesting point. You know, talking about ancestral stuff, not only with what has been passed down to us trauma wise, which is stuff we talk about the Proclivity Method, because guys, your parents pass to you more than just your hair color and your eye color, right? You
Yep.
also take on the patterns of your parents, their breathing patterns, their emotions, and until we recognize that, we can struggle to make actual true lasting change. Yet you also just brought up about the importance of what your mom ate and what your grandmother ate while they were in the womb. Tell us more about that.
Oh man, there's studies. If anyone out there is familiar with Weston A. Price and how you can see through different generations how it affects 2, 3, 4, 5 generations after that. And so, when I first was wanting to become pregnant and got pregnant, I focused so much on my health overall. I've had a history of health issues, which is why I got into this field, and it plays a big role because if you think about it, it makes common sense. Your body is creating a human. It's going to use all the material that you have in your body, including obviously its genes, but obviously what you're feeding it. And so sometimes say maybe I have a history of poor eating habits or lifestyle habits of high stress. Yet I make a big change in my life. It might not affect me 100%. You won't make me 100% better. It might not make my offspring, my kids 100% better, but it's going to create this snowball effect for the generations to come.
So being able to break those chains of how you're eating and your health can affect, talk about like people get so focused on, I got to make sure my kids and my kids have the financial right means that they'll remember me and support, know that I support them. Yet, what do you really want to give them? Healthier body and a happier life, right? So the decisions that you're making right now of being able to live your day in a way that is healthy and that strengthens you helps your generations down the road.
Oh, yes, totally.
Wow. All right. Well, let's talk about the immune system and how we can strengthen it. Actually, no. Let's talk about how the immune system, first and foremost, is weakened. Then we'll talk about how we can strengthen it. So there is a way to weaken your immune system. What are those things that are going to open you up to catching things like COVID and other viruses because your body isn't able to defend it?
Yeah. Yeah. Number one, stress. And when so many people think of stress, they think emotional stress, like, oh, I'm so stressed throughout the day because I have so much going on. Yet there are so many different types of stressors. Things like in your environment, the chemicals you use, the makeup you use, the food you eat, the people you're around, sleep. Number one at Proclivity, sleep, lack of sleep, lack of boundaries with your life, with your job, with friends and family. And then, moving on from there to get more specific, lack of exercise or daily movement in your body prevents a lack of blood flow. Vitamin D is becoming more and more popular as far as the studies are showing how important it is to fighting off these viruses, especially COVID. And then there's things like, especially in the past 2 years, like we're sanitizing too much. So we're using hand sanitizer every day. We're washing our hands like multiple times a day. So we're not getting enough exposure to bacteria. And when we don't get enough exposure to bacteria, our immune system isn't familiar with it and it gets a little weak. And so then it doesn't know how to fight back. So we need that balance of exposure to bacteria. And then lastly on my list that I could think of is poor breathing patterns. It's a form of stress too. So if you're a mouth breather, if you're snoring at night, if you're congested all the time, if you're not able to regulate your breath when you're stressed, these are all huge ones that play a major role in weakening our immune system.
And what I'm looking at here, and correct me if I'm wrong. You know me, I'm a minimalist at heart. I believe our body is an incredible machine, which is why I like doing 73-day fast, 4-day fast, 5-day fast, and then going deadlifting weight and running and testing my body, because God made us to be so resilient and everything around us, for the most part, to work in harmony with us. Natural, nature. And some of the things that you pointed out, sleep, being able to get good sleep. We're meant to get great sleep. I was talking to somebody just the other day and I said, when you go camping and you got the fire, and you're on the fire, don't have any blue light, no electronics, and then you go to sleep that night and you sleep incredible, right? You got the fresh air, you're close to the ground. It's incredible.
Oh, yeah.
This is going back to the basics, you guys. Like vitamin D, you get that from the sun.
Light exposure.
Yes, being able to get out in the sun. We look at it and be like, so I need that supplement. No, your supplement is getting your butt out into the sun, right? Go take a walk and expose your skin. You also talked about sanitation. That is something that God didn't go, here, let me create this sanitation. No, humans created it, and now it's weakening our immune system because we're using it too often. It's pressed on us. Guys, why is it pressed on us? We've repped this out so many times because they're trying to make money. So, of course, they're going to tell you need to sanitize all the time. At every chance that you get, sanitize all the time. So then what? You come back and you buy some more from us. Yet, for thousands of years, we went without sanitation. And guess what? We survived. Now, when we had plagues and so on and so forth, this is where Western medicine comes in. It's great, right? Antibiotics are incredible, when you're that sick. Yet, it's all pressed too much because really, if we go back to the roots, we live a very harmonious and healthy life. Correct?
Correct. Yeah, our body is incredible. And like you said, in nature, they work synergistically. And it's very amazing when you look into it and take a moment to realize what it does.
So these are some of the things that weaken our immune system. What are the things that strengthen our immune system? So some of us might be saying like, oh man, yeah, I haven't been exercising and my sleep sucks. Okay, I get it. What do I need to do to keep myself healthy, particularly during these times?
Yeah. So for the most part, it's the opposite of what we just said. So getting better, consistent sleep. When we say sleep, we mean quality sleep. So taking a look at how much REM sleep you're getting, how much deep sleep you're getting, how do you feel in the morning when you wake up? And going back to light exposure, are you getting light exposure in the morning and then not so much light exposure in the evening? Because that helps set our circadian rhythm up for success. Managing stress in a way that works for you, whether it be getting outside, playing with your kids, setting boundaries so you have you time, playing. Joel, that's one of Joel's favorites, is
Love to play.
play. Meditation, laughing, being with people you love, getting rid of the people that are toxic to you. And then for me, obviously, getting in nutrient-dense foods. So this is why I'm such a huge fan of a paleo-ish template of food, because they're whole foods that are nutrient-dense. So meat, eggs, avocado, nuts, seeds, all those kinds of things, and staying away from the refined high sugar foods. And then, like we said before, sun exposure. There's a time and place for sunscreen as well, speaking of too much protection. And then some of our favorite add-ons, heat therapy and cold exposure. So fun and so underutilized.
And that's why we jumped in the Truckee River this morning, you guys.
Yes.
We practiced we practiced some with cold showers. I do cold showers every day. Emily, how are your cold showers?
Yeah, I've practiced before, yet I have not done it recently, and it was chilling to say the least. It made me nervous for the cold plunge, and so it's definitely something that I had to warm up to. Quite literally, I slowly cranked up or I should say, down the temperature of the water, and then jumping in today, it did definitely help prepare me mentally to know how to go into breathing. And yeah, it's definitely a hard thing at first, yet so beneficial.
And guys, we like to repeat things. You know why? Because you need to hear it. We'll tell you the same story 20,000 times until you finally get it and apply it. Guess what? When we go back 1,000 years, do you think that they had warm running water?
Nope. Depending on where you were in the world.
Yeah, depending on in the world, right? But if you're in that super hot climate, what are you getting every day?
Heat exposure.
Heat exposure and heat therapy, right? You're in the cold, right? You're getting cold therapy. Natural. This is why we're saying heat therapy and cold therapy. Now we have technology today where we can do both. We don't have to be at the equator to be able to get heat therapy and then go up to the north in Maine to be able to jump into a pond, right? We have the technology, which is great, that we can use these days, and we should. Yet, coming back, making sure that we recognize, going back to our roots, going back to how God created us to be, making sure that we have good relationships, making sure that we're breathing correctly, that we're in a parasympathetic state because we're not rushing around and getting bombarded with artificial lights and constant stimulation through social media and emails and everything else. Bang, bang, bang. Those type of things are going to disrupt our immune system. And if we allow them to compound and they go, we're going to start weakening our immune system, and we're going to start opening ourselves up to sickness. So we know that sleep is, we talk about the elixir of life. Y'all, if you're not sleeping, 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night, you're missing a huge lever in your health and fitness. You want to lose weight? Sleep. You want to balance your hormones? Sleep. You want to have less cravings the next day? Sleep. You want to fight off cancer? Sleep. You want to fight off colds? Sleep. You want to live longer? Sleep. You're going to do it for 1/3 of your life. You should do it right.
100%.
Yes. 100%.
You have to create that time for yourself.
Yeah, you do. You do. So now we know, all right, we need to avoid these things when it comes to weakening our immune system. And we really need to invest into these. And like Emily said, it's pretty much, flip-flop, right? If you're not going to get sleep, you should get more sleep. If you're not getting sun exposure and vitamin D, get some more vitamin D. All right. So y'all can look back at that list, and we're going to repeat some of this, and we're going to talk to you about our 3 main ones when it comes to a healthy immune system. Yet, think again, come back to our roots. Our body is incredibly resourceful.
Yep.
It will keep us healthy if we give it the ability to be back into its natural parasympathetic state of living life. Now, say somebody has a cold. They're listening to you right now. Man, I got a cold. There's all kinds of different remedies for the cold, right? And people look up online, so on and so forth. So we're going to give you guys the Proclivity remedy, what we believe and what we throw at a cold when we go, oop, there it is. There it is. So, Coach Emily, take us through the Proclivity remedy when we start feeling, we recognize, oh, shoot, yep, I got a sore throat. I can kind of feel, oh, it's coming. What do we do?
Yeah, I feel it in my throat as just like this little hey, this hurts a little bit. And I'm like, oh, I know it's coming. So first thing I do, I look at what does my schedule look like? So again, going back to sleep, do I need to change my workout that I have planned? I often change it to just walking or doing something that's just body weight. I still think depending on where you're at in the cold cycle, I still think that getting your blood moving, getting your breath going, sweating a little bit can be extremely helpful. If you're into your chest already with a big bad cough, then I don't recommend breathing super hard. Yeah, if you're not there yet, moving your body a little bit and adjusting the level of intensity of your workout is the first place I look. And then making sure I can get to bed on time, maybe get a nap in. Again, it comes back to that rest. So that's a big one.
Well, and let me interrupt you real quick, because this is a really important part. I got to drive this home. 10 years being in a gym, right? How often I would have people come to the gym with a cold, thinking they're going to sweat out their cold. Emily, we need to be specific here for the people who are listening. What do we suggest when it comes to getting some blood flow? Is it rowing intervals at a 1-to-1 rest work ratio at 75%? Is it 21-15-9 Fran? Is it a 5-mile run at 60%?
Nope.
What is it? Give it to us.
Yeah. So my first recommendation, without knowing who you are and where you're at, again, with your cold, 30-minute walk. 30-minute walk. You can go down 15 minutes. You can do 45 if you're feeling a little bit better. You can do a hot shower. Again, a little bit of heat exposure, because when our body heats up, especially in that phase of getting the cold, that's, when you get that natural fever, that's your body fighting off whatever is in its system. So that natural low-grade fever is actually a very good thing. And so, again, if it's not a walk, if you are rowing or biking, it's very gentle and for a shorter period of time, just to get that blood flow a little bit. You don't want to be out of breath. You want to be able to talk while you're moving your body. Maybe some light yoga or stretching, mobility work, those kinds of things. I do some dry brushing. Sometimes I sit in my sauna. But the dry brushing I love because it's similar to cold therapy. Like it gets your whole body moving, your lymphatic system working and moving, which is helpful to flush things out.
And what is dry brushing?
Yeah, dry brushing is, if you've ever seen those like natural colored looking brushes that are hard bristled.
Yep.
And so you start at your extremities, you rub in circles all the way up towards your heart, and that helps getting your lymphatic system circulating better. Feels good too. It's great for your skin.
It's great for your skin. It is great for your skin. Good. I just wanted to cover that because you guys going out, I'm not going to say who, but I recently had somebody who
A
came
lot of
down with
people.
COVID and then went and did a 20-minute row session. And that's too much.
Too much.
That's too much. And guess what? That person did not feel good the next day. Too much.
Yep.
All right. So we're preaching here. Yet it's important for you guys to understand the exercise is hormetic stress, meaning that it is a good stress, but it still goes into the stress cup. And when we're already fighting something, it can overflow. And this is where you're going to take that cold that should be done in 3 to 5 days. You're going to extrapolate it to 15, 16, maybe into an infection.
Yep.
Listen to us, guys. Okay, so that's the movement part. What else do we throw at our cold?
Yeah. So then I look to, again, this is when we've gotten to that point. I look to certain supplements in what I'm taking in dietarily. So I'm looking at lower sugar. So I'm looking at higher fat, higher carb, things like bone broth. So helpful because it has all the minerals, electrolytes, and it also has the collagen in there. So if you are having any kind of gut issues, it can help with that as well, which, as you may or may not know, your immune system is highly tied to your gut health. And so obviously nourishing foods, which I know is difficult when you're not feeling your best, yet it is extremely important to healing up a little better and faster. So after I look at my diet and removing the sugars and all of the refined foods, then I look to some supplements. My first go-to is oregano oil. I love it. It's a love-hate relationship.
Oh yeah,
Tastes terrible.
the worst.
Yeah, I have it's diluted oil, oregano in oil in a dropper. And I will do anywhere from 4 to 6 drops of that into 2 ounces of water. Take that back like a shot. I gargle it, especially if I'm feeling that in my throat. Let it sit around in there in my mouth for a little bit. Then I swallow it. And that is huge because it's an antifungal, it's like a natural antibiotic. There's so many benefits to it that it's my go-to for everything when I start feeling inflamed or sick of any kind. So oregano oil, and then, like I mentioned, says it tastes terrible. I chase it with something. I chase it with elderberry syrup because elderberry is another known component that's high in antioxidants and vitamins to help boost your immune system, helps with inflammation. And so I have a syrup that has honey and elderberry in it, and I chase just a little swig of that after my oregano shot. And it tastes great. And speaking of honey, some of my favorite brands for especially if you have kids and for myself is Beekeepers Naturals. They have a throat propolis spray that you can get some honey from them as well. But the propolis is super helpful for that throat and immune system in general too. So after those 2 things, then I go to zinc and vitamin C. And oftentimes you can get those from food, yet when you are feeling that cold come on, I like to do a little bit extra. So I have zinc picolinate. I take 15 to 30 grams of that every day while I'm feeling a little extra sick. Vitamin C, I recommend either a liposomal vitamin C or a high quality food sourced vitamin C. So liposomal meaning it can be utilized by your body much faster. It's a technique, it's a new supplement way to form a supplement. And it's much more effective. And then when I say a food form of vitamin C, obviously foods, most people think of orange juice, right?
Yeah.
I don't recommend that. I don't recommend fruit juice almost ever.
Yes.
Here and there, maybe some grapefruit juice, maybe a cup of like fresh squeezed orange juice. But when you're sick, you actually want to minimize the level of sugar, like I mentioned. So I turn more towards vegetables, things like bell peppers, cauliflower. And then I also have a supplement it's from Paleo Valley. They use things like cherries in the supplement. So it's a real whole food source of vitamin C without a lot of that sugar.
Wow.
So that's the regimen that I go through and find it to be very effective. If I do that every day, or even the oregano shots, if you do that 2-3 times a day, your cold either doesn't come or it's shortened way faster.
And so what's the dosage throughout the day, right? We have the oregano, we have the elderberry, we have the zinc, we have the vitamin C. How often are people supposed to take it throughout the day?
Yeah, so since I do the oregano and then the elderberry right after, I do that 2 to 3 times a day. So if you're at work, it might be hard to bring to work, so you can just do it morning and night. Yeah, if you have the opportunity to in the middle of the day, do that too. Again, with oregano oil, I do anywhere from 4 to 5 drops of that diluted dropper. And the elderberry, I would say it's about 2 teaspoons up to a tablespoon
Gotcha.
each time. And then the zinc, again, 15 to 30 milligrams a day. You could go as high as 50. Yet some people can go too high on zinc if you have copper issues. So that's something you want to be aware of within yourself, which is why I always recommend getting regular lab work done. Vitamin C, whatever the dose is on the bottle you have is better than nothing. Yet you can do a little bit extra, a couple extra 100 milligrams a day if you'd like. But I would do that too, at least once a day, if not twice a day, totaling somewhere around 400 or 500 milligrams.
Got you. And what about vitamin D?
Yes, did I not even talk about that? I completely missed that. And I missed that because I take that every single day. Even when I get more sun exposure, although in the summer times, if I'm out for a half hour straight in the sun, then I might skip a day of the supplemental vitamin C or vitamin D. Yet for the majority of my days, I take 5,000 units. Some people can get away with a little bit less, yet some people need even way more. So again, this goes back to your blood work. You definitely want to get your vitamin D levels tested. The majority of people are deficient. The majority of people in general.
It's like 80% or something, right? 70 or 80%.
It's super high, which again is so crazy because it's a very cheap, easy way to help strengthen your immune system. And if you do supplement with it, I highly recommend you get a vitamin D that is paired with K2. Because I so many of my clients come to me and they just are taking D3. Yeah. And without that K2, your body's not going to be able to utilize vitamin D, calcium, and maybe even vitamin A very well. So if people are like, oh, well, my doctor says I have, weak bones or I'm apt to osteoporosis or something like that, it's not always because you don't have enough calcium. It's likely because you don't have enough vitamin K2 and D3 along with it.
Knowledge bombs, you guys. Knowledge bombs. Now, there's been a lot of talk that you should really increase your vitamin D, like get to 10,000 units or even higher. Is that a thing or what?
Yeah, it just all depends on where your levels are at. So say you're on the lower end, say anywhere below 30, then yeah, you can definitely take 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. I know I've had some clients who are extremely low and they take 50,000 for a period of time. That's a lot. That's a lot. Yet they take that until their levels boost back up. And that could be anywhere from a week to 6 months. Just totally depends on the person. Again, get tested. And then you can figure out for yourself what you need.
Yes, get tested. You throw that out there and, some people may think,
you know what I mean?
I know what you mean, but I'm just
your
saying.
Blood tested.
Yes. We're talking about your blood, you guys. Okay, get your mind out of the gutter.
Joel.
But get tested that way too, guys. You never know. Stay safe. Okay, awesome. So, guys, this is and along, right? We threw our cold remedy when it comes to the different vitamins. Now, it is important to get quality supplements, quality vitamins. Reach out to us because we are able to prescribe practitioner grade supplements. Reach out to us. If not, there is a high probability that you are flushing your money down the toilet. And it's worth being able to do a call with Emily, who will walk through your supplements. She will then prescribe you the supplements that she wants you to take. And you, I promise, because she's done it with me, you will feel a difference because you're getting the appropriate supplements and the quality grade. You want to speak on that anymore, Coach Emily?
Yeah, just shoot either of us a message or team at proclivity.co on Instagram. if you have our phone numbers, and we're happy to hop on the phone and chat about it. And I can recommend any supplement that I think serves you best. And like Joel said, quality very much so matters. I don't recommend getting your supplements from Costco or Trader Joe's
Or Target.
or Target.
I know,
Yep.
I know a lot of people get their supplements from Target.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And if you guys are listening, like, oh, shoot, yeah, that's me, just reach out to us. That's what we're here for. We're here to be able to help you. We'll get you on the appropriate supplements. And guess what? You'll actually most likely save money because after you do a consultation with Emily will be like, and why are you taking that? And you'll be like, I don't know. My Uncle Bob told me to take it. Okay, you don't need that. So you're just wasting money on something you don't need. And then you'll get the exact dosage of what you need to be able to create a healthy immune system. Cool. So we've covered that. We've covered what you can do in a more natural way, right? Of getting sun exposure, cold therapy, heat therapy. Don't be bathing in sanitation all the time, right? I just watch people at times. It's just like anyways, I'm not going to get into that. And avoid processed food, right? Make sure you're moving daily, those kind of things. So to wrap this up, Coach Emily, what are our top 3 tips for people, right? We've named a lot of different things, but what are our top 3 tips in being able to create a healthy immune system so that you can keep yourself from being sick, and if you get sick, you're able to get over it quickly?
Yeah. So number 1, sleep or rest. Especially, we have so many people who come to us who are those hard chargers, go all the time. Your body is far too much in a sympathetic state. We want to get it back into a parasympathetic state and use sleep as recovery. So that's number 1. Get a consistent bedtime.
Yes.
Number 2, this one's tricky. So supplementation, yet one better would be getting out into the sun, getting that vitamin D. So whether it be a walk outside, sitting outside for certain parts of your day, the vitamin D, so many studies are coming out more and more of showing how important it is to being healthier and having a better, stronger immune system. And then, like I said, you can go down the list of supplements when you do get that cold of the zinc, vitamin C, and oregano. Third, I would say making sure you're moving your body, whether it be through breath work. That could be a way to move your body. You're exercising your internal organs. You're upregulating or downregulating your central nervous system in your breath. So those are ways to also do it. But just like I said before, walking, doing some kind of sauna or heat exposure, or even cold therapy, all of those things, or any kind of movement that you enjoy. Literally, if you enjoy it, you're hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. So we highly recommend getting any kind of movement or body work in that you enjoy.
Yes. Getting that movement in, guys, getting that blood flow rolling, making sure that you have the appropriate supplementation, particularly if you're sick, and sleep is the elixir of life. Simple and easy, not the same thing. Not
So
the
true.
same thing. Well, you guys, there you have it. That not only did we cover what is it you need to do to create a healthy immune system, but we also gave you the Proclivity remedy. This is how Emily and I attack it every time we get sick. It's not saying that that's the perfect way. Just saying after what we have gone through, particularly recently of being sick, we were able to bounce back very quickly by utilizing that cold remedy. So feel free, write it down. If you have questions, reach out to us, team@proclivity.co. You can find us on Instagram at proclivity.co, and feel free, reach out or head to our website, www.proclivity.co as well. Coach Emily, anything else?
No, I think that's it. There's so much to be said about everything, like you said. So if you have any more questions, yeah, we love talking about it.
And if you're in the Reno area and you want to jump into a river, just let Emily know, because she's now totally addicted to it. She wants to do it every single day.
I'm excited.
Perfect. All right, you guys, that's it for this episode. If you enjoyed what you listened to, please like, subscribe, and if you could leave a review, that helps us out so much. Thank you again for tuning in. We'll see you next time.